All right, how's everyone doing? I am Rich CELENZA. Thanks for checking out the Rich CELENZA show. And what I want to talk about is not boxing yourself into a corner. If you've been previously listening to any of my podcasts or even some of my YouTube videos, I've been really trying to help people live incredible lives affordably. And I'm kind of back doing some work for others, traveling again. And, I really haven't been corresponding with a lot of people, with the exception of maybe through my YouTube videos or podcast, because it was COVID. And for the most part, I was in Florida, and I was just here doing my own thing. I mean, of course, I had close family members and friends that I would see, but I really wasn't dealing with any colleagues or kind of people, I guess you could say, in business, with the exception maybe of LinkedIn and going back and forth regarding that. But what I've seen now is how many people have kind of been boxed in to a certain degree, especially financially during COVID. And I should say, especially in Florida. I think a lot of people, because Florida is open, think everything's going great here and the economy is booming. It's definitely a great place to be right now during a pandemic. There's no question about that. But, Florida also is a great place because the cost of living is nothing, I think, compared to, say, LA or New York, to a certain degree, depending on where you live, like anything else. Okay. So, and that would be Chicago as well, or any main, any large city, San Francisco, Philly, even. You can get away with things, even Boston, even Canada. There's places in Florida you could really live affordably. You don't have to buy a lot of clothes. Your car doesn't, really have to take a major toll. Just a lot of things you can kind of get away with in Florida that you can't really get away with in a lot of other places and still have a really kind of great lifestyle, great weather, beautiful beaches, all those type of things. But people also have to realize, especially if it comes to, say, unemployment, how low Florida is. I think it's around, if you pull your tax out of it, it's not even $250. It's the weakest. And I see a lot of people, not only Florida, but other places that have, like a lot of others, when the economy is going good, they spend. And they keep spending, and they keep, I wouldn't say put themselves in debt, but they finance a lot of things that they probably shouldn't be financing, or financing things, or taking lines of credits on things. It could be a home that's kind of too big. It could be buying that extra car. It could be spending more on your credit card, whatever the case may be. Kind of boxing themselves in. And, if you're younger, I get it. Because I think we all do this when we're younger. We want certain things and we go out and we get them. Regardless, a lot of times, even what the interest rate is, we just don't care. We want to get certain things a lot of times, especially if you're right out of college or in your mid-20s. You want a certain type of lifestyle, car, eating out, going out in general, maybe traveling, all these different type of things, which are wonderful. But I see more and more people that just, even in their 40s and 50s, continuously keep doing this. And I'm telling you, a lot of times, I talk about this a lot, when things are kind of going good, it's kind of the time to pull back. And I never realized that. It's kind of go the opposite. That doesn't mean I don't want you to make a lot of money and expand in your business and grow and all that. That's different. But I remember, and I'll tell a story, I might have said it once before on my podcast. Let me get some water here. I got to clear my throat out sometimes when you talk for long periods of time. When my friends were a lot of traders downtown Chicago, at the Board of Trade, the Merc, and, things were going really good. And this is after I actually fell on hard times. Up and down throughout my life, things were going really good for a lot of my close friends, making a lot of money. And this was, what would I would say, this is kind of the mid-90s, 80s, late 80s, I should say, all the way up to kind of the late 90s. But I used to tell them, when things are going good, start investing in other things. Start even saving a lot more money, because most of them, the more money they made, like everyone else to a certain degree, buying a lot of bigger homes, buying a lot of different things. It could be jewelry, it could be clothing, all these things, which is great, but it becomes excessive. And I said, this is the time to kind of, what I've learned is be as frugal as possible to a certain degree. Because times they're not great forever all the time. Now, that doesn't mean Some people become millionaires and then billionaires. Some just kick ass and grow. But look at the field you're kind of in and say, is this always going to be like this? I mean, even with stock market, you're going to have ups and downs. Real estate, you're going to have ups and downs to a certain degree. Now, when the downs come, a lot of times, the smart ones are the ones that kind of come in and do the best. And most likely because they not only know about financing, they have access to the money, or they have the money to take advantage of those situations. It's just a reality. But if you're spending all your money on things, or again, a large mortgage, I don't care if you have 2 homes, I don't care what it is, you're kind of boxed into that. And then let's say, I'll just say it like at the Board of Trade in the Merc, my friends, the trading business started to take a major hit. Really, computers kind of came in and, started to take over a lot more. And before you know it, now they're making less money. Their response usually is, I got to work harder in this to keep up now. Or I got to, figure out a way in this industry to make more money, which is a great idea, don't get me wrong. But they know as time goes on, most likely they are, their jobs or their business they're in is getting weaker and weaker and weaker. They don't want to admit it. Now, as they make less and less money per month or per year, now they're constantly scrambling. Now they can't get out, is usually what they say. Now I'm in too deep. I have to, make any money I can in this situation. Now they can't save any money. Now what do they kind of do? And a lot of them, and I think I could speak for myself, for a lot of people, you'll wonder sometimes too, you make something a career, and then before you know it, a couple things happen, I think. One is you're not that successful in it. You may be successful in it at the beginning or for a certain amount of time, for making a certain amount of money. But, like anything else, you may think making, 80 grand, for instance, per year is really good. Before you know it, you're married. I mean, you may have double income, you may not. But say you have 1 child, then 2 maybe, right? You get a bigger home. Before you know it, even if you're increasing to 90 grand or 100 grand, start looking at it. That really, especially if your wife doesn't want to work or something happens, you may have a sick child, or you want to start investing. Maybe you don't want to be in the business you're in anymore. You want to do your own. Before you know it, that 100 grand is like nothing to a certain degree. I mean, it's barely keeping you above water after you pay all your bills, especially if you got to pay for certain things out of pocket. It could be insurance. It could be other things where you just start to get wiped out. I've been there. So, I just want to do a video on this about getting boxed in, because I don't think a lot of people really realize they are boxing themselves in, especially credit cards or other things, because before you know it, you are locked into a certain lifestyle sometimes, and you do not know how to get out. You don't have an escape plan. And that is brutal, and I've been there. And then you're upside down. It could be on your cars. If the economy takes a shit, your home could be worth, depending on what part of the country, sure, it may be worth a lot more. But then again, it may go down. I've had 2 homes do that, where they've just really decreased in value. And they were both in beautiful spots, in great towns, gated communities, one of them. So just please be aware of this, especially if you're younger. And this is I kind of incorporate a lot of this talk in my podcasts. But for some reason lately, these are the things people want to talk to me about. And believe me, I am no financial advisor. I'm not here telling you how to make money. I'm not telling you how to stash your money or where to put it. None of those type of things. What I really want to help people is really just make sure your ass is covered a little bit. That doesn't mean at 40 years old you have to panic, or even 50 maybe. Oh my God, I don't have a 401k and I don't have a retirement plan. I'm going under. That's not the type of anxiety I'm looking at giving you. But what I am looking at telling you is maybe backing up on spending on things you don't necessarily need, or finding them for a lot less money. Those are things I'm talking about. And again, that doesn't mean, I will say this, a lot of times people will be like, you shouldn't spend $5 at Starbucks per day on coffee. Look at it at the end of the month. Look at it at the end of the year. I'm calling bullshit on that. If you like going to Starbucks or any coffee house, whatever, to spend $5 that brings you enjoyment, do it. It's $5. If you're in a bar, for instance, spending $50, $70 a day, maybe on drinks, eating, whatever the case may be, that's a little different. But again, it depends on the money you make. All right. But again, $5 and I know what people are going to say, you're full of shit, every dollar counts. You still have to have a balance. Why are you doing what you're doing? You work your ass off a lot of times. You have to reward yourself. I don't care who you are. A lot of my friends too, I'll just say, we go out, a lot of them like to smoke cigars. A lot of times they will be like, oh man, they'll order expensive drinks. They'll be like, man, I'm going to pick up the drinks because I'm going to order, expensive drinks when I drink. I'm like, what is that? You should enjoy your drink. A drink, there are things in life that you should be enjoying. That's why you live your life. But again, there's a difference between buying $10 or $15 drinks with a nice cigar once in a while compared to going out and buying a car for $80,000, and making payments, or taking on that type of responsibility is much different. There is a sweet spot, I call it, between balancing having a great life and then kind of having a great life where it kind of destroys your life, especially when it comes to your finances and stress. And I will wrap it up with this. A lot of times I talk to very wealthy businessmen, just friends, family members, or colleagues. I'm not talking coaching or any of that shit. That's not what I'm here to say by any means. Most of the dudes that are successful definitely don't need me telling them what to do. Maybe I can help them with fitness or fashion or something in that level. But a lot of guys I talk to, they'll go front and say, look at my hair. This made me gray hair. Or look at this. Look what this did to me. They'll be overweight. Or they'll for some reason or another not be happy with some aspect of their life because they feel like they've dedicated their life to making money or developing a company or business or just working hard at their job, which is great, right? They acknowledge that, and those are sacrifices they made, right? And I tip my hat to anybody who works their ass off, but you do also, and I'm, like I said, I'm throwing this at the end, fitness, there's more to life than just wealth. And I had to learn that as well. Sometimes, you got to realize there is a balance between making money, saving money, trying to stay healthy, enjoying the money, not where the money, you're so stressed if you're not making all this money. All these different types of things, I think, emotionally take a toll. And just be very aware of that, especially if you're going into your 40s, 50s, and 60s, that you have to bring a balance to each aspect of your life. If you're spending too much money and putting yourself in debt, pay attention to that. If you're making a lot of money, that's wonderful, but at what price? What is that doing to you emotionally and physically? What's it doing to your relationships as well? All these type of things I think we just have to be aware of. But please don't box yourself into a corner. All right? I'm going to wrap it up there. If you want, check out my website, richcelenza.com. You want, reach out, comments, questions. I'm basically just doing podcasts now. Talk about freedom a little bit. I needed a break from my videos. I uploaded well over 1,000 videos on YouTube over the last 2 years. And I just want to get back to my roots, is what I originally wanted to do, which was a podcast. So hopefully this helps in any way. If it doesn't, what are you going to do? All right, take care, everyone.